So I'm Domonkos, CEO of Yasp. This is a personalization company, and we provide AI solution to some of the world's largest e-commerce and video platforms. Today, I'd like to speak with you about the state of deep learning in the world of B2C commerce. We are convinced that by 2023, most of the large businesses will have not only an AI strategy, but such an AI strategy where deep learning plays a substantial role. Therefore, we see a window now in the market where not only the biggest player, but also the mainstream of retailers, video streaming sites, and broadcasters will be able to using deep learning day to day. So first, let me talk a bit about Gravity, the company. As Chris mentioned, the core team of Gravity consists of machine learning experts known for winning the Netflix prize that happened more than 10 years ago. But since then, we've been working with some of the largest video streaming and marketplaces in the world to come up with the next generation solution for personalization. Here, our first publication in the so-called SessionBased research came in 2015 and is now considered a seminal paper with over 1,200 citations. We are also acknowledged by NVIDIA, and by now this technology, the session-based recommendation became the de facto approach in the post-GDPR world. Okay, so why does it matter? What are the benefits? So first, probably most importantly, this approach adds 10 to 20% additional revenue, giving an advantage to whoever uses it. Therefore, with smart implementation, it can yield sizable extra revenue with a large profit ratio. Second, the compliance aspect. Deep learning using a session-based approach meets GDPR and AI Act regulation. Third, traditional enterprise teams can deploy the same capability used by bigger, more experienced tech giants and bring a more efficient technology architecture. And there are also other advantages, like deep learning is able to insert new data types on the fly, be it free text, image, audio, or video. We at Gravity gained experience in applying deep learning in a wide variety of online industries. We had 5 successful production deployments in the last 2 years. And to take another example beyond the retail one with the 10 to 20% extra, in streaming, for instance, we achieved 5% increase in video views that is directly converted to 5% additional ad revenue. Or at Hotstar, which is another streaming example, we managed to have 18% more subscribers for their streaming platform. If we go back in time, we witnessed how Netflix changed from a DVD rental company to the world's largest video streaming service, which is actually a data company. And at that time, machine learning ensembles at Netflix was a pioneering solution. Today, the major online brands like Amazon, Facebook, and Google have made huge investments into deep learning. Now we see that entire industries are becoming more data-centric. Therefore, these traditional industries, they should also adopt the best-in-breed advancement to keep up. And this is today deep learning. Why today? Why is this change happening now? There are some external reasons for that. For instance, the sink of computational cost, data availability, and hardware improvements have introduced new opportunities. The cost of GPUs has become 100% cheaper in the last 10 years, And there are publicly available deep learning frameworks like TensorFlow or PyTorch. The advancement of technology also boosted the uptake of deep learning in many application areas, from astronomy to physical modeling, financial analysis, clinical research, and the online industry is not an exception. So next, I'd like to explain what deep learning is and how to deploy it. To understand what deep learning is, let's start with machine learning. So you have heard of it from both of the previous speakers, but in our view, machine learning algorithms learn patterns based on historical input data and can generalize that to predict outcomes on unseen new data. Machine learning is typically applied to problems like categorization, clustering, prediction of a next action, or machine translation. This is good when your input is well-formed tabular data. So its initial step is to select the data that matters. This is called the feature extraction part. And this is performed traditionally by human experts. But as the size and the heterogeneity of data increases, the mere number of combination of inputs explode and becomes intractable for humans. This requires automation, similarly as Mark said in the first talk. This point is where deep learning comes to help. With deep learning, one can automate and efficiently process large volume of various kinds of data types, as I said, text, audio, image, video, whatever, and these are fed into a complex learning system. You may also ask why it is called deep. The answer is simple, because the components can be stacked onto each other, building up a layered architecture, thus creating a multi-step learning process. For business executives responding to the trends towards data-driven digital transformation, changing industry standards, and equally complying to legal obligations are essential. In the field of personalization, the session-based deep learning approach is now the trendsetter. This use case is focusing on the next best product recommendation and found to be superior to the collaborative filtering approach that has been with us with more than 10 years already. So let me give you three reasons why it is better than the previous state of the art. First, because it is equally able to adapt to the quickly changing user needs, unlike collaborative filtering, which is using only past data. Second, it can integrate heterogeneous data very easily. Third, because of its session-based nature, it overcomes the problem caused by the limitation of cookie matching technology and also compliant with regulations like GDPR. But last but not least, the main point for any e-commerce manager is that the session-based solution has proven to bring 10 to 20% better results in a directly monetizable way on big impact user touchpoints. You may ask how to connect deep learning to your existing system. In case of personalization, it is quite easy. You can switch it into an existing architecture. It can be connected via an API. It requires data access to transitional and inventory data, and it should be trained as a standalone application on GPU, while the inferencing, the real-time predictions can be made using GPU or CPU. The efficient use of the infrastructure is key to achieve good ROI. We have developed and fine-tuned our deep learning framework in the last 4 years to be equally flexible and cost-effective. So let me showcase the power of deep learning on a case study we have done with N11, a large online marketplace in Turkey. They have an inventory with more than 20 million products, and they have more than 250 million monthly visits. So this is a really large marketplace site. We teamed up with their internal data science team and engineering team to see what is the impact of deep learning to the existing collaborative and content-based filtering approach. Actually, they were quite skeptic. So we did a thorough A/B testing for several months. Obviously, the primary metrics was those ones that mattered the business. So first of all, the revenue through recommendation, but we also scrutinized secondary metrics, including conversion and click-through rate. Surprisingly or not, but the results were outstanding, with a 10 to 20% increase in revenue through recommendation. The difference is depends on the channel, whether it is web, mobile web, or which mobile platform we are talking about. Beyond that metric, the conversion rate also increased, and we also observed a small improvement in CTR. This is also an interesting artifact because it suggests that the products were relevant to convert visitors to buyers and not to provide clickbait type of recommendations. If I have to highlight two challenges, I would name, first of all, the data quality, because at N11 they have frequent upgrades in their system, which oftentimes broke certain part of their data pipelines. The second was the quickly changing inventory that required us to change our deep learning architecture a bit to capture such updates quickly. As for the infrastructure demand in this case, we use a single GPU to train the model with, as I said, 10 millions of products. And the inferencing is provided from standard CPU-based application servers, which improves the cost efficiently greatly. Another interesting side effect that we didn't expect was that the baseline solution performance could improve over time, since it learned the pattern from the better performing deep learning approach. So we checked how it reacts when we switch it off, and after we seen that the performance of the baseline started to decrease again. So let me give you some ideas how to build your roadmap for personalization with deep learning. First, you should start identifying the pain points and that part of your service which matters the most. These are usually obviously the most visited pages of your website or application. Then you should assess the maturity of your organization and AI strategy and check the availability of your teams and their resources. Then review the architecture, data sources, data flows, and make sure that these data can be accessed and their use is authorized by your users. So that also means you should take a look at your cookie policy and the ratio of opt-in, opt-out users and the like. And if you know what you want to achieve, then decide how to do it. So do you have your internal resources? You want to outsource the project or something in between? This decision will necessarily impact your choice of infrastructure, cloud or on-prem, and the service model, SaaS or private infrastructure. We can support you to accomplish your roadmap in various ways. For those who want to simply use a personalization solution that is performance boosted by deep learning, we can obviously offer our YASP engine. It comes with a pretty standard integration and ready to fly in a few weeks, operated from the cloud. For those who already have their own personalization solution, but willing to upgrade in a simple way, can opt for using our deep learning module as a standalone service that can be easily fitted to your existing architecture and infrastructure and supports both cloud and on-prem. And for those who are willing to own a deep learning technology but want to avoid the tedious, lengthy, and sometimes failed development period of their own software, we offer our deep learning module with source code and training and perpetual license. This will enable your team to use and customize the latest deep learning technology for your special needs. And if you are unsure which one fits you the best, we created a questionnaire to support you in this decision that is available on this link. So Netflix in 2009 was a great win and a unique acknowledgement for us, motivated also to start this personalization company. But the journey since then bring us to a more inspirational moment. And now we see ourselves as an evangelist of deep learning, and we would like to help bringing deep learning to the mainstream businesses and call for the interest of business executives that are on the deep learning journey. We hope that based on this session, you will see the importance of including deep learning as one of the top 3 initiatives for the next year. Last, we suggest you to start to assess your company by simply asking 3 questions to your team. Do we have an AI strategy to integrate deep learning into our solution? Do we exploit the full potential of our data assets for a better user experience and performance boost? And very importantly, do we have the team with the necessary skills and availability in-house? We are happy to assist you in your deep learning journey to improve your personalization capabilities with minimal effort and risk. So if you want to know more about our solution, we would be happy if we are contacted by you. So thank you for your time.